everything is neat and clean, you will get 8. But if you want to score that 10, 9 plus in that particular answer, or even in notice and all that, right? The reports and all that. Over there also, if you want to score full marks, others the average is out of 5, it is 4. 4, 3.5 is the
Yes,
average
yes,
which
yes.
every teacher give if you are writing in a good way. But if you want to score that one, because see, for every uh, this writing part, if you are losing 1 marks, automatically 6, 7 marks you are losing here only,
Gone. Yes, it's gone.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we don't realize it. According to you, you are writing in a best way, but teacher will not give you because she is reading hundreds of paper, not only your paper, and she don't know who is Akshay and like is a bright student or what. He don't know, right? So this is what you have to present yourself in the exam hall so that you itself shines brighter than others. After checking the same paper, see, if I'll ask you what is an apple, everybody will write that apple is a fruit, is a fruit, is a fruit, right? But if I get something, an apple is a red color specific color, it is basically found in Jammu and Kashmir. So I'll feel like, okay, the student has the capability, and the student knows if, like, apart from what everybody knows. So you have to present yourself like that. So that is the only difference.
Understood.
Most of the time students feel like that we are very easygoing for English. English, we know everything. But why they don't score well? Because see, if even if you are getting losing 2 marks, automatically 12 marks you are losing. And apart from that, there will be some mistakes you will do, in comprehension or something like that. And automatically students lose 15 to 20 marks in English, which is very disheartening
Yes,
because
yes, yes.
students think they can score very well in English. So, see, whatever is wrong, you cannot correct it. But where there are chances to improve, where you can score well, you have to put there. Just there are few topics, education, environment, which is water, air, like that, and corruption and all that thing. So these are some basically frequently asked topics. You can have some quotation related to the how to start. Just look how to start. Others you can write in the body, but how to start and how to end is very important, right? Because that is
Yes,
what
ma'am.
your teacher is going to focus. If I will read it according to Mahatma Gandhi, this and this, yeah, according to Shakespeare, this and this, automatically my interest will like, okay, the student knows something beyond that. He knows that there are few genius people, he knows apart from bookish language, he knows something else. So this is what the things happen. So yeah, you have to, for English, do this thing for your writing part. And literature you already know, but the only thing, just present in a very good way so that your teacher don't feel like, okay, you are only writing, because story is going to be same for everybody, right? Even if the chapter
Yes, ma'am.
whatever happened, the scenario is going to be same for everybody, right? So how you present it, that's important for literature. Like for literature and for theory, for writing skills, I already told you what to do. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm. Okay, so now let's just start. Compare and analyze the given data of India and China with valid reason, right? So India, it's 1.03%, and gender ratio is 924, and China it's 0.46, and the gender ratio is 494, right? So these type of questions they are going to ask you. So from the given data shows that China could arrest its annual population rate with the implementation of some stringent measure in late 1970, like the introduction of one child norm. This step has been an instrument in controlling the growth of population in China. India stands virtually more than double to China's annual population growth rate of 1.03% as compared to China annual population growth rate of 0.46% per annum. Clear? So this is what you can use the data from here. You don't have to remember any data, right? The data is already given to you, but the only thing you should know the reason why the annual growth rate in India is 1.03 and why it is 0.46 in China. So the only reason, because they
Yes, ma'am.
introduced
Yes,
few
ma'am.
of the policies. Second is the dynamic, second one is the sex ratio, right? So you can see the sex ratio is low and biased in both the countries. You can see it's 90 above, 900 above, so automatically it is due to preference of male child, whereas India stand for 924 females per thousand male. China is far ahead at 949 females per thousand male. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So this is what, and similarly, the next one, you will just compare it, you will get an idea. So first read the first one and then all the data. First, you will try to read on your own what you interpret, right? And after that, according to your interpretation, you will see whether the point which are mentioned over here, you are writing. You can add the point, but if you miss any point now, that's very, because everybody over here, even they don't know about anything, they can write this line that, the annual growth rate is much better in China, right, as compared to India just by looking, but they don't know the reason behind that. So you should highlight it. And when you are highlighting, I'll tell you for economics, whenever these type of questions come, what I used to do is, for example, over there, so what I'm doing, I'm writing it like this. I'm just with the pencil, because I think sketch pens and all that are not allowed. With the help of pencil, you can underline the factors. What I used to do is, like, I just want that examiner should be focusing on this introduction of one child policy, right? So I'll highlight it, right? So over here,
Okay,
in
understood.
this line, I want to highlight the sex ratio is low and biased in both the countries due to preference of male child. I highlighted it, right? So this
Yes,
is these
ma'am.
are the things where, apart from you want to highlight it, that you know the things, you know the reason. Because over here, what I know, even a first standard student will get to know that who is performing better, right? So over here, why you are making a difference? Because examiner only need to know that whether you know the reason behind that or not. And if you will highlight it, it will save my time. Plus your presentation will look good, and I will like, okay, the student know this. Yes, correctly 4 marks. Clear?
Understood. Yes,
So
ma'am.
this
Clear.
is what you can do. Even in your English, when you are highlighting the quotes and all that, na, underline it. Don't waste your time. First, finish your paper, right? Just don't start doing it from very starting. Just finish your paper. And after that, when you have your time, just underline the important thing. In English, very, very important, not in literature, but in writing skills is very important. For example, if you're writing a paragraph or something over there, just mark it up with the quotation you are highlighting. That's it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll read it up, then I'll move to the second one.
Ma'am, I read this, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just move to the next. Okay, so first try to do the interpretation on your own, then I'll show you the answer.
Yes, ma'am. I kind of thought of my answer, ma'am.
Sorry, Akshay.
I thought of my answer, ma'am.
Okay, so just see.
Yes, ma'am, I read it.
Now the third one.
Yes, ma'am. Now can you show the answer, ma'am? Ma'am, in this the last line they're talking like the Indian elephant and all that, right? So can we write like that and all, ma'am? I know like it's creative and all, but some teachers might not like it, right, ma'am?
Yes, so it's like in like what they have presented over here. What they are saying, they are like analysis. In analysis, with a valid argument. So for an argument, you should have some points to prove the valid argument, right? So over here, what they are saying, see, nevertheless, India elephant has traveled a long distance before it could present itself a real threat to the growth story of Chinese dragon. Now, why you are using this? Because Chinese people also you are using their animal like a dragon, right? So that's why in India,
Yes, ma'am.
it's basically a symbol that you are using, right? So this is what you can use, and even if you feel like just avoid this because sometimes most of the student you never know who is taking your paper, right? Some of the teacher are
Yes,
like
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
in favor, and some of the teacher are not in favor. They are like, as a student, you cannot dive into all these things, right? So just you can just avoid it. Yes, but if like for example for Chinese people, whenever you need to broadcast it or something, you can use Chinese dragon, but not about India. Okay, because Chinese people itself they use their dragon as a multiple example,
Oh,
right?
okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. I read this now.
now, now next is the GLP, which is GLF, Great Leap Forward. You can just give the reading.
Ma'am, I read that, ma'am. Ma'am, I read that, ma'am.
First, you will analyze, and then after that, I'll show you the answer.
Okay. Ma'am, could you show the answer now, ma'am? Ma'am, I read it, ma'am. Ma'am, I read it, ma'am. That is different chapter, right, ma'am?
Yes, Akshay. So over here, these were the only questions. Okay, let me just give me 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so should I read this now, ma'am?
No, Akshay, I'm just sharing the other questions. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So we are not starting with this, Akshay. We can just start with the chapter number 1 questions, right? So I'm
Yes,
not,
ma'am.
yeah,
I
we can just
remember
give the
that chapter,
reading.
right?
Yes. Akshay, you said something?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, I read this. Ma'am, I read this. Ma'am. Ma'am, I read this. Ma'am. Ma'am, I read this, ma'am. Ma'am, I read this, ma'am. Ma'am, I read this, ma'am. And so now next chapter, ma'am.
Yes, because in the first one, we have that, and after that, the entire unit covers 3 chapters, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll just finish it reading till 3 chapters, and after that, like after your exam, you will just read it, and then I will take your assessment.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, but I think third chapter is very long, ma'am. I think so much depth is
That yeah,
available
we
there,
will
so we
only
should
finish
write
till
it.
two. Third one, I'll try to make you understand again, right? Just a recap.
Okay,
Even
ma'am.
the second chapter is too long. Whatever you
Yes,
will
ma'am.
study in the third chapter, automatically it will in the second chapter, automatically the reverse is going to happen in the third chapter. Like whatever policies you are going to introduce in between 1950 1990, reform means you are going to again correct it.
Yes, yes, yes. Ma'am, could you please scroll down? 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 Ma'am, could you please scroll down?